So wherever you are, if you can, just close your eyes. And these are your tarot moon scopes for the first Cancer new moon of 2020 on June 21st. So keep your eyes closed, take some deep breaths in and out. And as we tune into the Cancer moon energy and the Cancer season, we feel our emotions fill up our bodies. Because that's where they show up on this earth. They make themselves known in our bodies. Whether you feel your anxiety in your chest, pain in your hips. Our bodies are trying to tell us something. Our bodies are a beacon for our intuition and our emotion. Take another deep breath as you find gratitude for your body and all the things it does for you and all the things it keeps doing for you. And then when our body is telling us something, we're going to listen, especially in the next coming month. When we want to sleep, we're going to let our body sleep. When we want to cry, we're going to let our body cry. When our body needs a hug, we're going to need a hug. We're going to let our body get a hug. If we tune in, we can feel all those things right here, right inside of us, in our heart, in our stomach, sometimes in our throat or our brain. Everything we need to know is right here, right encapsulated in that beautiful skin. And we're going to allow this Cancer new moon energy to fill us up and tell us exactly what we need it to tell us. Open your eyes if they're closed. So, since we're getting into some really I feel like we have a revolution and a movement and a fight to fight. And we're getting to the point now where we need to try to not react from a place of emotion. I know it's not easy. And what's the other thing I was going to say? Not reacting from a place of emotion. It's interesting. It's like you almost need to let yourself feel your emotions with yourself, and in those moments, so that they're not being out in a different direction, and then it's not being received, and then nothing good. There's no growth. There's no change coming from it. This is really about, we're shifting now from this Gemini energy into Cancer. And Gemini and Sagittarius, they were really helping us speak our truth and speak truth to power. And so now those things are being brought to light. And so now we're getting this place that's like, okay, here's this thing. What do we do with it? Well, first, we all got to feel it. We got to feel the grief and the pain and the sadness and the anger and the triumph. And the uncomfortability and the resistance. And we have to feel the grief. Did I say that already? I'm all about the grieving. All about it. In order to, it's like we gotta then let us feel the emotion and go through the grieving process, so then we can come back to the table from a heart-centered place where we know where our emotions are, but from a calm, centered place, so that we can speak clearly, so that we can be well received, and so that actual change can happen. So there's a shift happening for sure. And also to figure out how we keep up the work. How do we keep up the work when it feels like, how do we keep things up here when it feels like things are losing steam, when we know it's important? And also, a big thing I've noticed about all this is that you can't do everything. You can't do everything. Well, I shouldn't say I've noticed. I've learned you can't do everything, and you're not going to do it perfect. But I think I shouldn't say I think. There is a lesson here about recognizing your lane and trying to stay in it while also being aware of what's going on around you. This is really a time, this is really going to help us transition. I mean, there's just no going back to what we were before. And I found that's my biggest pet peeve right now is hearing people, oh, I can't wait till we go back to normal. I just can't wait till we go back to normal. And I just feel like at this point, if the only thing that you're really worried about is getting back to normal, then you are pretty fucking lucky to have a really good normal going on that you just can't wait to get back there. Because I think a lot of people out there don't feel that way. And the fact that we are coming out of this in a whole different way, although it can seem scary and the unknown can be unnerving, it's important for our movement forward as people on this planet. So try to find the things that you're grateful for coming out of this. Try to be grateful for the things that you have learned coming out of this. Because we're far from over. We're not going to get back to normal probably anytime soon. That has not been a popular opinion recently, but that's what my messages are telling me. And I was looking for my list so that I don't get confused when I'm pulling for everybody, but I can't find it. Okay, we'll just try to keep this in line. I'm sorry I went on a little tangent there. So much to talk about. We can't even there's no way that we can touch on all of it today. I'm just trying to find some good points for you to take out of this so that like you can feel like you can move forward into this new reality, and that it's to find the promise and the hope out of it and try to not be intimidated or fearful of it. Okay, so let's start with Cancer. Happy birthday, Cancers. My water babies. So Cancer, before I start, because where the tangent started, because things are getting really tender and we're going to start feeling a lot. I thought we'd have a little gentle read today, and I'm going to use my Angel Tarot from Radley Valentine. I actually bought these when they first came out. Unfortunately, Doreen's not a part of it anymore, but Radley is amazing. So these are all beautiful cards, and I don't have any reversals for this card. So we're gonna hold each other. I'm gonna hold you. You're gonna hold me. We're gonna get through this together. Okay, so Cancer, 10 of Air. 10 of Air, which is also the 10 of Swords. The end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Recovering can also mean recovering from an addiction. Recovering from addiction or a vice, a bad habit that may not be serving you, that you've been trying to get rid of. The 10 of Air is the 10 of Swords also, and this has been coming up a lot for people lately. So Cancer, you're feeling done. I feel like this card comes up a lot when you're just feeling done. If you know traditional tarot, it is the guy laying on the ground with all the swords stuck in him, and it can be like a scary sight. On here, it is... Oh, I just noticed that there's 10 unicorns, Aries unicorns in this deck. And a couple of them are kind of turned away from the rest of the pack. End of a difficult situation. Embrace the change. So, this has been a huge lesson in change. But I feel like this is coming up because it is for sure going to be change for the better. Especially for you, Cancer. Like, you're so in touch with your emotions. And with this, I feel like it's really like the changing of your mind. You need to change something that you've been thinking, like the way that you've been viewing your world or the way that you've been thinking about it. It's like time to really leave some of those thoughts that are no longer serving you behind. Because although the 10 of Swords can look scary in the foreground, if you look into the background, you see a like bright sunny day coming up over the hill. So a lot of times this card is, you know, the darkest, the brightest dawns always come after the darkest nights. So this is could be a little bit of a dark night of a soul for you, because you're going to feel it stronger than anybody, and other water signs will feel it super strong too, but it's your time. It's your season. We're capped by these new moons, so be gentle with yourself. Like, this is a lot to recover from too. It's, you know, we talk about adjusting to change, but the patriarchal society wants you to just like, okay, things change, like pull yourself up for your bootstraps and let's keep going to the next thing. And this is the femininity of the moon energy and where we're going in this world. The energy vibrational uplift is more about like, okay, let's take a little bit more of our time. Let's integrate. Oh, we changed? Okay, let's sit here for a moment. How does it feel? Just getting comfortable, getting used to it. I might take a nap in it for a little while. We're so quick to just be like, what's the next thing? Okay, we moved. Like, let's buy a car now. Okay, we got married, gotta have a baby. Like, okay, I finished this project at work. Great, high five. Here's your next project. Like, there's no integration time, or there hasn't been integration time in the patriarchal masculine sense that we've all been living. And we're moving into a more feminine sense. So, like, after big change like this, like, you gotta give yourself some time. Especially, like, time in the sense of, like, you're cocooning. With all this energy coming up right now, your home is, you know, create your home as your cocoon. Cancer's messages this last few moons have been like, let go, let go, let go, let go. And you've been on the succession. Like, I think you had six of Swords a while back. So, like, you're moving forward. It might be going slower than you expect, but and you might keep feeling like things keep happening, and that's to slow you down so that you can integrate. When a snake sheds its skin, it can't just like start, you know, crawling across the desert again. It's tender, and that sand is gonna hurt real bad, you know, like, but when it gives its time to integrate and grow its new skin back, it can handle even more than it did before. So let yourself fortify, let yourself, you know, be into it. I mean, that's great advice for everybody right now, but like, Cancer, this is like, you're almost there. Be gentle with yourself. Like, you're right at the end of it. I didn't see what anybody says. Great week for LGBTQ+. We're here, we're queer. I love my queer community. 100 degrees out today. It was hot. Oh, hi, Piper. Thanks. I cut it. Actually, I just had my friend cut the back off, and I literally sat in my bathroom with my thinning shears and, like, texturizing the crap out of it. Okay, so next, after Cancer, is Leo. This is the test. Ooh, King of Fire, Leo. Sweet. That is great fire energy for you. Motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Advice from someone creative. Ooh. So Leo, I feel like this is asking you to step into a leadership position. Be a leader. Maybe you've been being a little bit quiet. Maybe you've been feeling like you can't be a leader. You can't step into that. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Like, it feels like this is like the energy that you need to like step into, is really like into your fireness and into your natural extrovert. You have no problem having all eyes on you. And so I feel like you save a lot of that for those people closest to you. And as much as like the Cancer season is like, cultivate those relationships closest to you, you already do that, Leo. Your family, like, you probably already know that they're number one in your life. And so it's kind of time for you to open your wings and branch out that energy. Branch it out to share it. Like, it's almost like you need to share your exuberance, share your passion, find something that you really are passionate about and you really care about, and make sure that you are like committing to it. If there's been something that you've been thinking about, you're like, shouldn't I? You should. It's the King of Fire is the King of Wands, and as soon as he does, like, him and the Queen both, as soon as they commit to something and as soon as they put their magic into it, like, things just start happening. So this really feels like a good go ahead, just like telling you, Leo, like, do your thing. It's time to share your gifts. And it's going to be work and it's going to take some focus, but you've already cultivated your support system behind you, and so they're going to be right there supporting you. Cool. Virgo. Ooh, Knight of Water. Oh, we're going to get a bunch of, I feel like the court cards lately have really been making their presence known. We need them. The Knight of Water is the Knight of Cups. He's emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. You see him, he's coming on his dolphin steed. Water is the dolphins on this. Falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, an invitation to a social event. You know, Virgo, I feel like you are always so much more empathic than you give yourself credit for. I feel like you really protect your emotion, but maybe you're doing that to the extreme, where it says falling in love or waiting for someone, but when I said falling in love, it almost felt like falling in love with like your life. It's almost like you've been carrying the load for so long that you haven't really like let yourself feel that things are okay. Does that make sense? Like, the need to balance emotions is on here too. Invitation to a social event. Invitation to a social event, something that you really want to do, but maybe you're like, nah, I probably shouldn't because I have all these responsibilities. And I think that's the thing. It's like, you're now being too rigid with yourself. You're not allowing yourself to really like feel the love around you or enjoy it. I really think this is about like enjoyment of letting yourself feel the happy emotions, and not just like, I feel like a lot of earth signs can tend to do that, especially Virgo and Capricorn, like, because you guys get so caught up in what you have to do and your responsibility and putting everybody else, like, what they need first. You don't put yourself first. you don't even let yourself feel the good emotion. It's like you're feeling it, but then there's like this whole like sheer of thoughts going over that are almost like tainting your happiness. It's weird. I just saw this like vision. I also saw one of my Virgo friends that it's like you're sitting there trying to enjoy something with your family, you know, a vacation, a big event, and you can see that things are happening around you. It's almost like a weird level of depression, but it's not like you're depressed. It's like you can see that things are great emotionally, you know that everything's great, but then like there's this like screen, like just imagine like a window screen, you know, you can still barely see it. It kind of like makes things look a little gray when you're looking through them on the outside. So it's like a thick screen, but instead of just a screen, it's like in front, on running across the screen too, like are all of your thoughts, all of your responsibilities, all of you over analyzing why you're feeling your emotion, and then almost like self-deprecating, like you can't feel that, like you know what I mean. I hope that makes sense. Like it's lately it's been hard to communicate like the visions that I'm getting. So yes. So self-love, I guess, would be this thing, or like allowing yourself to fully feel when the good things around you are happening. Okay, who's after Virgo? Libra. Okay, Libra. Ooh, release. 13. This is also the death card. Hi, Erin. Thank you. You're gorgeous, too. Okay, sorry. This is Archangel Azrael. The end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. I have a feeling we will be seeing a theme of accepting things and moving forward, and also feeling our emotions and stepping into our power. Those are the themes, ladies and gentlemen. So release for the death card to, especially for Libra. I think Libra, because you see the world through rose-colored glasses and you always see the best in people. I feel like this is especially for like relationships and people and even situations. Like you tend to romanticize things, so it is hard for you to let them go. So it really is about like kind of trying to step out of that, and step into like what your heart is really telling you. Cause, which is weird, cause I feel like saying, I feel like saying, how do I express this in the right way? Cause when saying like look with your heart can be misconstrued, and then you can again just keep seeing things from your rose-colored vision, and seeing the best in people. Like for example, to make this more tangible, there's somebody in your life and you love them, you see the good in them, but they just keep disappointing you over and over and over again. Or, you know, it's just any situation where it's like you keep seeing the best in it, you keep seeing the best in it, you keep seeing it, and it's like how many disappointments can you take? How many signs can you get before you finally release? I feel like this keeps coming up for Libra. You hold on a little too long than you should, because you guys are such bleeding hearts, because you hate feeling that way. So why would you want to make anybody else feel that way? You know? But it's time. There's some things that you're holding on to that are not serving you, and it is time to let go. Because if you don't listen to the universe when it's like whispering, when it's like tapping on the shoulder, hey, you should probably let this go. It's probably not doing you good. And you're like, no, I'm good. It's cool. Like, hey, hey, this should probably be done. Like, how many times are you going to go through this? Walk away. No, it's not that bad. It's fine. Blah, 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 blah. Like, the more you ignore it, like, the universe is going to figure out a way to slap you upside the head. Boom. You know, like, car accidents, illnesses. Like, this is how the universe manifests signs to us when we're not listening. And when release is coming up in the major arcana, this is representative of the death card. Like, it is, like, if you do not let it go, it's gonna let go of you. Or if you don't do it in a purposeful way, fate will step in, and you are not gonna like the way that fate steps in. Fate is not gentle at all. So it's like telling you, like, you can either take it into your own hands and take care of it in a way that you feel that feels best for you, or you can keep trying to ignore it, and fate's gonna step in, and it ain't gonna be fun for either parties. So it's like you can either be uncomfortable for a little bit and maybe hurt someone's feelings or walk away from a situation, or you can try to ignore it and shit's gonna get bad. Truth bomb. Sorry, not sorry. It's time. The energy is here. I know it can seem scary. Your brain can think of all the worst scenarios possible. But when it's time to let go, like, it's time to let go. For sure. Okay, Libra, Scorpio, 6 of Fire. Nice. Victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards. Well, that's nice. 6 of Fire. The fire in this is the wands. It is represented by dragons. They all have actually little dragons on their staves. So the 6 of Wands, 6 of Fire, is all about, like, returning home from victory. Also, it can be about recognizing your own victories, recognizing who you are, recognizing just the things that you've accomplished. I've noticed that as we move from our 20s to our 30s, if you're there right now, I know there are times, I feel like it's anytime we kind of move from decade to decade in our lives, we tend to kind of forget the things that we did before. We tend to start to, you know, it's like we give less shits as we get older, but then it's like we think we're being more logical and smart about things, about our decisions, when actually we're kind of forgetting how badass we are, and maybe some of the things that we did when we were young because we were just like, yeah, let's do it, it's cool, you know, and forgetting that part is still within us. So this is about, like, just, like, if you've been working on something, like, there's going to be some victories coming on its way, and it's got to be something that you've been working on because it's a labor of love for you. Yeah, I feel like, especially, like, it's about you with the combination of this moon. It's kind of like they're asking, like, it really is like, what are you supposed to be feeling during this? And you were supposed to be feeling victory. You were supposed to be, like, recognizing your attributes and how great you are, and that you have the knowledge and the experience to move forward. Scorpio, then Sagittarius. Ooh, Queen of Water. See, didn't I say? I hear a lot of court cards coming up. Queen of Water. And we just have the Knight of Water, too. Okay, Sagittarius. Tender-hearted, empathic, or empathetic. I always say empathic, because I feel like it's more. This one's really pretty. It's like between heaven and water. Patient, loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. So this is cool. So that means that Sagittarius, especially if you've been doing your work, or you've even been just starting to really, like, dig deeper into who you are and how you're moving forward in life, this Cancer is gonna bring you some great, like, almost like level ups. It feels like you're leveling up in the emotional sphere. Like, you know who you are, and you know what makes you tick, you know what triggers you, but it is kind of like you're leveling up to this new awareness of your emotions and who you are emotionally and how you use your emotions for to benefit you or to not benefit you. You know, because this is coming up to like it's about it is about you like like continuing that theme lately of being thoughtful and thinking before you speak, but this is more in the direction of like where you're pushing your emotion, where you're like, because a lot of what you speak is backed by your emotion. So it's interesting that like the last couple moons have really been trying to get you to like get in touch with your voice and how you use it, and when you shouldn't be using it so much, and how to use it properly. And now it's kind of like shining, like this moon's going to shine light on how your heart is connected to your voice. Your throat chakra is literally like the bridge between your head and your heart, and it's how it like connects your lower chakras and your heart into your intuition. And it says in here, trust your intuition. So this is like connecting the dots for you and finding where that's happening in your heart space, and how that is expressed, you know, through your words and how you present to the world, but just more in like an emotional way, like really being aware of like, okay, what do I feel right now, and why do I feel that way, and what do I need to fix this, what do I need to not feel this way, what do I need to talk right now just because I need to talk about what I feel right now. So very like exploratory in that way. Okay. After Sagittarius is Capricorn. Ooh, 4 of Earth. I feel like Capricorn keeps getting like Earth like cards for them, which is like opposite of everybody else. Everyone's getting like an opposite like element of who they are, because this is the 4 of Coins. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. So this is really like, Capricorn is known for being very down to earth and being really in touch with their money. So this almost feels like it's really having you like asking you to look even deeper at where you're spending your dollar, how you're spending your dollar. Are you being too frivolous? Are you being too cautious? Because if we hold too tightly to our money, and we're like afraid to let it go, then the universe picks up like, oh, well, you're afraid to let that go, so we'll just let you hold on to what you got, and we won't send you any more because it seems like you're having a hard time holding on to what we already gave you. So you know what I mean? So it's like you need to open up that like flow between give and take, and recognizing abundance. And it's funny that the giving to the less fortunate is coming up, so that it could be involved if you are holding too tightly, if you have wealth and you're holding too tightly to it, especially right now. I know an amazing amazing money coach. Her name is Sarah Jane DeLuca, and her Instagram tag is, it's like shift money, gain power, or something like that. Dang it. I wish I remember off the top of my head. Shift money, gain power. Where she actually works with people who have money, or are from wealth, that have trust funds and such like that. Move money, shift power. Sarah DeLuca. Move money _ shift power. And she works with people to help them, if they come from wealth, to or if they have extra money that they want to invest. It's about like figuring out better companies to invest in that aren't like of privilege, that, you know, aren't corporations. Like and also it's about like where to, you know, practice your dang it, what's the word when people are really into charity? Practice, I swear, uh, practice giving back, and making sure that you're where you're also donating your dollar is making, you know, is you're paying attention to that. And I say this to my boyfriend all the time about stuff, because, you know, we live in the developed world and it can seem like things are just going to keep going the way they are and they don't change. That your dollar is your vote. Think about that. I think about for everybody. But I think Capricorn sometimes can go with things because it's just like financially it's a good choice, or it's logical, or responsible. It's kind of like asking you to like get out of these words that are actually limiting your expansion. This is really limiting your expansion if you're holding on too tightly to your beliefs too. Especially around your money. So it's interesting. The last couple of moons have really been like really challenging you guys about it, because you're so known to be really good with your money, but it's like, are you, or are you also, if you're a Capricorn that's finally gotten some wealth, like, are you sharing that wealth, and how are you sharing it? Okay. Whew, this is going a lot longer than I thought it would, but man, so much happening, so much energy, so many messages. Aquarius, 10 of water. Again, people are getting opposite elements. 10 of water. Oh, this looks cool. A contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. So this is the 10 of Cups, and only a couple people have gotten this. Only a couple signs. It doesn't come up very often. Cancer season for you, Aquarius. Seems like it's going to be real rewarding when it comes to your home life. And finding gratitude in that, focusing on that, really like basking in the security of it. I feel like Aquarians really need emotional security, even if they act like they don't and they don't really want to admit it, because they don't consider themselves emotional. But for them to trust somebody and to commit to them, like, they really need to feel held and safe. I think that's why a lot of Aquarians end up together. So whatever that needs, your emotional and material needs are met. Like, really just attracting like, and this is kind of like, this is the dream life arrival card. So even if things have been seeming a little touchy lately, or like they're not, you know, it's easy to focus on what's not going the way you want it to. So stop doing that. Things are going great. It's so funny because I keep thinking of one of my brother's best friends who's an Aquarius, and he just had twins with his girlfriend, and he is rocking the dad life. And you can see, like, here's the partners, and I like how they're kind of like ambiguous. And then here's like the two little children mermaids. So yeah, I feel like Aquarius, you've probably been really working on cultivating that for yourself in your home. So appreciate that. See it, feel it. Okay, after Aquarius, Pisces. Ooh, balance. So this is also temperance. Balance. Archangel Zadkiel. He's cool. I don't know how many times I've pulled this one. I haven't seen this one in a while. I wonder what those flowers are around him. Those are cool, like irises. I should look that up. Pisces, what do irises represent? The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise. Wait for perfect timing. So this, it's interesting that they did this for balance, not for temperance, and not justice. Because I think they actually just stuck with justice. Because justice is kind of balance. This, so Pisces, since you are a water sign, but you are the oldest water sign, you are the oldest sign, and your personality can encompass a lot of other signs, and you're not as easily wallowy as us Scorpios and Cancers. You, like Libra, like to see the world through rose-colored glasses, and you are like always on the move. So balance. So I feel like Cancer season for you is just kind of fortify some things for you, or it might just dig some stuff up that needs to show you where you need to have balance in your life. Temperance, that this card is based off, is about like alchemy of the parts of ourselves that don't seem like they go together and how to make those work together. And that's what's really going on a lot right now, just in the world and in the energy, is that we're finding out that we're all like dynamic, weird creatures, and we like all sorts of things that can easily contradict each other. And it's like, how do you make that work for yourself? How do you make that work for yourself? How do you make that work for your life? So that's a good one, Pisces. Is this one for Aries? Oh, 3 of Air. This one's coming up a lot. This came up the other day for a friend of mine. Aries, 3 of Air, which is 3 of Swords. It's like two unicorns and a baby unicorn. Great sadness. Take time to heal. The need to forgive yourself or others. Aries, you are also more emotional than you give yourself credit for. More empathic, I would say. Especially Aries women. And I think too, you can tend to like overstep your emotions, where you're like, because you're really tough and independent, so you might not give your heart as much attention as you should. The 3 of Air is the 3 of Hearts in traditional tarot, and it's where the 3 swords through the heart, and it's like sadness and grief. And so I feel like for Cancer season, this is going to shine some light on the things that maybe you've been ignoring that actually were heartbreaking or hard for you to let go or to change. And you might not have completely dealt with it the way you should. And I implore you to let those feelings out. There is some underlying wounds and trauma possibly that needs to be acknowledged in order to be healed. And that's really, it's not an easy thing for you, Aries. And with it coming up as an air card, I think it really is like, it will help you to look at things maybe from a logical standpoint. It's really about like, yeah, that combination of your head and your heart. The harmony of the two, that they can help each other. Okay, after Aries is Taurus. Oh, Taurus also got their own element. 3 of Earth. 3 of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player, Taurus. So this I feel like is definitely, because there are a lot of Taurans out there that are team players, and they're extroverted, and they have no problem being with people, and they love working with people, and they do the damn thing. I feel like this is more for those Taurans that are a little bit more on the introverted side, or you just kind of get stuck in your ways. It's not even so much that you're an introvert, it is that you created a safe space for yourself and you're good there, and you don't need to grow outside of that. So this is asking you to kind of step outside of what you're used to, step outside of your little safe space that you've created, and definitely like let people in. The Three of Earth, Three of Coins is all it's all about teamwork. It's about recognizing people's skill and knowledge, even though even if they don't appear to have that knowledge. In the traditional card, you'd see that there's like several different ages of the people working together, and it is about like not discounting somebody's knowledge because of their age, whether they're young or older. It's about really kind of giving those people around you the space to speak and say what they, contribute. And I think too that can happen. I think Taurus too can also just kind of take over and be like, okay, like, here's what we're gonna do, everybody, like, let me direct. So if you're that kind of Taurus also, it might be time to like let somebody take the reins, or step back, let somebody else do it. So yeah, teamwork. The earth signs are the fairies. This one's pretty cool. Okay, so then we have Gemini, and then we're done with the tarot scopes, and we'll answer some questions. Thank you for hanging out. Page of Air. Ooh. Page of Air, Gemini. This is you, Gemini. We're coming to the end of your season. Logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. That is you for sure. Challenging information, delays or changes of plans, truth delivered without tact. Ooh. So I actually think of truth delivered without tact as more of the Knight of Air. I feel like the Knight of Air is actually like more of the thing, like acts without thinking, than the Page. But also like Gemini, when you are like, it's so funny because I feel like you guys are really fun loving. You're very quick, and you're naturally kind people, even if you don't think you are. And then every Gemini I know has like this story of when they like were in a situation and they were just over someone's bullshit, and they just like laid the truth bomb down on them, like so like quick, to where the person they said to just like didn't even like, wait, what? what just happened? Like, like, because you guys, I think the older you get and the more evolved you become and the more you learn, you just learn how to use your words. You learn how to use them. Words can be weapons or medicine, and sometimes you need them to be both. So, I feel like that since it's eclipse season too, if there is kind of a warning about maybe taking on new projects or something like that. I wouldn't really do it right now, especially with challenging information, delays, or change to plans. I just wouldn't go like during Cancer season. I just wouldn't do anything big. No big changes right now. You really need to integrate, especially moving from your season into this powerful Cancer season. It's like, just give yourself some time to like, and when delays happen, just know that that's in line with what's supposed to be happening for you. And remember, it's happening for you, not to you. That's a big thing for all of this. I feel like especially when things are coming up that like delays could be happening for you. It does feel like there might be some opportunities that come your way, but just be really discerning about whether it is a opportunity you want to take or not. That's happening a lot right now, especially when we're more purposeful about what we want and what we're manifesting in life. We can, what am I saying? We can, these opportunities will come across our paths that seem like they're in line with what we're doing, where there will almost be like some key words that kind of like match what you're doing. But then if you look at it, step back and look at it as a whole, you're like, well, it's not really where I'm going. Like, I'm going here. And sometimes, sometimes they can come along and be like, oh yeah, that lines up, enough that like we can try that out. But with this energy, it just feels like really make sure any of those opportunities that come along are the right opportunities. So, and sometimes you have to take the opportunity just to try it out and see that it doesn't work. Can always ask the cards what to do. Okay, my lovelies.